Hey guys, welcome to Mr. Smith's Kitchen. I'm Brian, Mr. Smith, my kitchen, for all its fame and glory. It's not nearly my old kitchen, but that's okay. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Glad you stopped by. I hope you get something out of what I do. If you want to know what I do, I'm just documenting me. I like to bake, I like to cook, I like to build things. Although I haven't got to do a whole lot of building in a very long time. We also keep fish. Basically, I'm just documenting me. And that's okay. You know, if you're returning to my channel, awesome. I'm glad you came back. I hope you keep coming. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. If you want, hit the notification bell. That way you know when my videos come out. And thank you for letting me into your life all the same, whether you're new or not. And thumbs up, thumbs down aren't necessary, but appreciated. Comments, love comments. You know, I'm just getting housekeeping out of the way. But if you do comment, keep it respectful. I mean, it's okay to voice your own opinion, thoughts, good or bad. I take them all, but just be thoughtful with it. You know, our community is, not huge by any means. Welcome to the new subscribers. Got 109 of them now. But we are diversified age range, backgrounds, all that stuff. So, let's be respectful for each other. That's what we like here on this channel and in our community. So anyhow, today is Thursday, and we're going to do some baking. And as mentioned in yesterday's video, which if you haven't tried the chicken noodle soup yet, try it. It's really good. But today, we're going to do pumpkin cookies. Brand new recipe to me. Many of my things that I cook and bake are brand new. Not all of them, but most of them are brand new to me. And the premise behind that, much like most things we do, if I can do it, the first time around, so can you. And if I screw up, you'll see it. If it doesn't taste good, I'll tell you. If I do something wrong, I'll tell you. I don't hold anything back. The only thing I edit is the, when I go from one view to another. So I don't erase anything. What you see is what you get. So that being said, like I said, today we're going to do pumpkin cookies. I got this recipe from YouTube, from a gentleman. I don't know his name, but his channel is Preppy Kitchen. He makes all kinds of stuff. Matter of fact, that's who I got the pumpkin roll off of, recipe off of a month ago. Although I've learned, if you don't enjoy baking, or you don't make the time to do it, and you're trying to rush through it, a lot of times, even if you follow the recipe, it just doesn't turn out quite as good as it could be. I like to say I try to bake and cook everything with love. I even do that at work. I manage a pizza shop. I make a lot of pizzas. And every pizza I make, I truly make with love because I like what I do. So, that being said, I'm going to bring the camera down, and that way you guys can kind of see what's going on here and not focus on and be distracted by all this good lookingness. Although you are much better looking than I could ever hope to be. And before I forget, my friend Josh Niles commented on my last video, and his comment was a link to a YouTube video that was a Bob Ross Happy Clouds remix. Absolutely awesome. Thank you, Josh. That was so cool. Niles is an amazing human being to begin with, and he always leaves me something that makes me chuckle or smile in the comments, and I appreciate that. All right, so let me get the camera moved, and when I come back, we will go over dry ingredients first and what to do with them, and then we'll tackle wet ingredients and how to work with those. Actually, before I even do that, let's talk about what you will need tool-wise for this. Actually, let me bring the camera down, and then we'll talk about it. All right, back in 1 second. Okay, so as some of you may know, some of you may not know, I am in a brand new kitchen. This is actually going to be the second thing I've ever baked in this kitchen. Still trying to figure the oven out. But I write everything down in a notebook, recipe-wise. If we like the recipe, then I keep it in the notebook. If I don't, just tear the paper out, throw it away. We move on with another recipe. I have yet to actually have to throw anything away, and the only thing that was even questionable, and I think it was me, was the pumpkin fudge, which I am currently thinking about remaking, but we'll see. All right, so anyhow, dry ingredients, tools you will need for it. You will need, and you don't necessarily need bowls for each one of these, but you will need at least one bowl and a sifter, or a screened object of some sort. Now I do have a sifter, a true actual baking sifter right here. I just don't ever use it because I've got these. And we'll go ahead and put in as we go. First thing we're going to need to start with is 2.5 cups or 300 grams. I will always give you grams because you should always try, if you don't have one, that's fine, but you should get one, to use a scale. Scales in baking are almost essential because you have to be precise with some things you bake. Plus it gives you consistency. So I will always give you cup and grams, all right, or ounces or whatever it may take at the time. But you're going to need 2.5 cups, 300 grams of flour. We're going to put that in the sifter, and we're sifting it so that way there's no lumps, clumps, bumps. It makes for a softer, it makes for a better cookie, is what it comes down to. So we got our 300 grams of flour. Then we will need 1 teaspoon, 4 grams of baking soda. Go ahead and get that dumped in there. 1 teaspoon, 4 grams of baking powder, and these are leaveners. They'll help with help it rise, make it a fluffy cake-like cookie. And then we just need a half a teaspoon, 2 grams of salt. And I use kosher salt to bake with, but which is a good salt because it's not iodized, and what salt does is it helps to bring out flavors. And kosher salt is a little more natural salt. All right, so then the next things you will need are as follows. I got these on a plate. You will need a half a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. You will need a half a teaspoon, half a teaspoon, right? Try that again. Start over, do over. Half a teaspoon, 1 gram of cinnamon. You will need a half a teaspoon, 2 grams of ginger, and 2 grams, half a teaspoon of allspice. You will need a quarter teaspoon, 1 gram of cardamom, and a quarter teaspoon, 1 gram of nutmeg. Now you're asking, why is there a variance in grams when they're all the same teaspoon, whether it be half or quarter? And this just comes down to weight. Some of them are lighter. The cardamom and the nutmeg weigh less overall than once they're dried than the others. So we're just going to dump those in there. And then we're just going to sift this through. Is all we have to do. Some other tools you will need: a whisk and a rubber spatula or a spatula of some sort to do this with. So a spatula is important because when we go to mix everything together, because we're going to do the wet ingredients next. And you're going to need a spatula to scrape your bowl with. Whether you're using a stand mixer, a hand mixer, you're still going to need a bowl, and you're still going to need a mixer, and you're still going to want to scrape your sides. That's kind of important when mixing. But I don't know if you can see down in there, but there's little clumps, even with the flour. Humidity will always do its best to make things clump. Powdered sugar is the worst. So we got that in there, good to go. Take our whisk, and we'll just give this a good combining, because even though we ran it through the sifter, it's still not completely combined. All right, so we got that combined. Looking good. Everything's in good shape, as you can see. All right, there is that. All right, let me get this cleared out, and I can bring my mixer out. This is my entire countertop. This is all I have, other than where the coffee maker sits on the other side of the sink. Kitchen is very small. So let me get this cleared up. I'm just going to set this aside. We don't need it quite yet. We got to do the wet ingredients next. And we'll work on some wet ingredients. Alright, so I got everything cleaned up and I got my stand mixer out. Now, if you don't have a stand mixer, because these are expensive, it took us a long time and a lot of saving to get one. You can use just a regular old hand mixer in a bowl. You know, either way, you will need a separate bowl. So total, altogether so far in equipment, we've got one scale, very important, one bowl for our dry, one bowl for our wet, and in this case, I'm going to use my stand mixer. If you have one, use your paddle attachment. And we're going to put in a half a cup, one stick, or 115 grams of butter. Yeah, but it's just one stick of butter, and you want to make sure it's at room temperature. And then to that, we're going to add a half a cup, 100 grams of white granulated sugar. And then what we're going to do is we're going to mix this together until it is well incorporated. Nope. Haha. See? Look at that. I have to plug in my mixer. Because you forgot to plug it in. No, actually, I forgot. I did forget to plug it in, but there's a reason why I don't plug it in. So I don't plug it in when I first get it out because we have little hands here, Abby, and I try not to plug any of the equipment in because I don't want somebody to come by and accidentally turn it on and hurt themselves or hurt me, and I do that with all my equipment. The only thing I leave plugged in on any regular basis is the stove, and that's just because it's too hard to pull out and plug in and unplug and plug in. So we'll go ahead and get this plugged in. I'll go ahead and get these combined, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, so we've got those combined together. Next thing we're going to do, scrape everything off. Make sure your sides are clean. Yeah, and what this does, it does a couple things. A, it ensures that everything gets back in the middle of the mixer. But mixers, especially stand mixers, have a tendency to have a dead spot in the center. And you want to make sure everything's mixed in there. Plus, it never hurts to scrape down the sides of your mixing bowl. And you'll want to scrape down your sides even with if you're using a hand mixer, because even a hand mixer won't get everything. All right, so we got those two well combined. It's got a nice creamy, fluffy look to it. And what we're going to do next is we're going to put our brown sugar in. Now, with brown sugar, all right, the brown sugar is 200 grams or 1 cup of packed brown sugar. Now, if you're using a scale, you don't have to worry about whether it's packed or not, or lightly done in your measuring cup, because you're using a scale. You'll go by the weight of 200 grams. But if you're not using a scale, which is okay, you want to pack it down in there. But as you can see, I'm sitting here breaking it up. Brown sugar has a tendency to clump. And when it clumps, it makes it hard to mix. So we want to make sure that we get at least the big clumps out of there and make it look presentable. And then what we're going to do is we're going to mix this. First, I'm going to wipe my hand off, get the brown sugar off of it. But we're going to mix this until it is, smooth, light, and fluffy. It's the best way to describe it. But we at least want it smooth. So I'm going to go ahead and get this mixed. And then once I've got that smooth, we'll see what happens next. All right? All right. We got that well incorporated. And it is, it's not so much fluffy, I guess. But it's lighter in color and it's smooth. So, once again, we'll get in here with our spatula, hit our sides up, and you really want it well incorporated. See how now it looks less like brown sugar and more like a peanut butter, or an almond butter, I guess you could say. And that's what we're looking for. We want to make sure it's well combined. Brown sugar is kind of hard to, takes a minute to get smooth. I actually mix that for about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, which is kind of a long time in the mixing world. Although there's some stuff that we've done that, you have to be precise with, and it may mix 3 to 5 minutes. But that's all you need for that. So the next thing we're going to add in here is our eggs and our vanilla. So we will need one egg, and we want that to be at room temperature, which means I've let the butter and the egg, I've actually let set out most of most of the morning and into the afternoon. There are people who professional bakers who when they plan their day ahead, they plan, like today I would plan for what I'm going to bake tomorrow. They'll actually pull all their dairy products out that night before they leave, and that way it has been sitting out all night and getting to good room temperature for the next morning. So we got our 1 egg in there at room temperature. We've got our 1 teaspoon or 4 grams of vanilla. We're going to put that in there. And then we're going to mix this and it'll be a nice, you'll see. I don't even know how to describe it, but it'll be smooth. Yeah, I'm not even going to tell you. We'll be right back. We're just going to mix it right here, and you'll see. It doesn't take long, but now we're looking for like a creamy consistency. And everything we mix, we're going to mix on medium high. Yeah, about medium high. But I want you, I don't know if you can see it or not, but see how that turned lighter in color. It's gotten really creamy. And it didn't take very long at all. You know, but we'll go ahead and give our bowl a good scrape again. You know, because that's what we do. We scrape our bowl when we bake and we use a mixer. Got that there. That's what we do. That's how we roll. But now it's got a really nice consistency to it. See how it's a lot lighter, a lot fluffier. So after we do that, we got one more ingredient to top in here. And that's the star of the show, so to speak. The pumpkin, you know, is what we got to put in next. So we'll go ahead and get our pumpkin out. Pumpkin. Now, this is a pumpkin puree. Well, this particular pumpkin is actually pumpkin we can. If you've followed me for a amount of time, you know we do a lot of canning on this channel, and pumpkin is one of them. Only because in the long run it's more cost effective. Plus, I truly know what's in my stuff this way. But if you are buying canned pumpkin from the store, you want 1 cup of pumpkin puree. You don't want the pumpkin pie in a can. You want the puree. The reason for that is the pumpkin pie in a can has all the spices you need for a pumpkin pie already. It's literally just put it in the crust and go. So puree. That way it has nothing in it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get this mixed together. And we want it to be combined thoroughly. You know, like I said before, it should be smooth. You know. Now, your pumpkin may look like it's curdling in there, and it's not. What it is even the best pureed pumpkin, it's not liquid, so you're gonna have those little chunks, but you're fine, I promise. And I'll show you what I mean, because it's doing it to mine. Yeah. We're gonna stop, scrape down this bowl. Oh, there's a debate on what to watch on the TV in the living room. It's quite exciting. Yeah. They're about to watch some Cinderella. But, I mean, see how it's got that little bit of... Oh, here, I'll bring this up to you. See how it looks a little rough now? That's okay. I mean, that's not going to hurt a thing, I promise. We'll give this a scrape real quick. So this is... A lot of times when you make things with pumpkin, it'll start out that way. But by the time it's said and done, by the time we put our dry ingredients in here and get that all mixed together, it'll be fine. There is no damage done at all. I just don't want you to, when you try this, to go, oh my goodness, what the heck happened? He didn't say anything about this. That does happen. And it's okay. So we'll get this a little more combined. Alright, I think we're in good shape. Now, all we have left to do is mix in our dry ingredients. And I'm not going to dump it all in at once. I'm going to dump about half of it in and then dump the other half in. Now, I mean, if you have a big enough bowl, rock on. You know, you can dump it all in at once, but I have found it's easier this way. When you put your dry ingredients into a bowl, whether you're using a hand mixer or a regular mixer, start on low. If you don't, you will get a face full of dry goods. I promise. I know because I've done it several times. You want to work your way up to that medium speed. I know it smells amazing. I can smell all this pumpkin, all the spices from the pumpkin spice. One thing I didn't mention that I could have was if, let's say you don't have the wherewithal or all these spices that we put in here, the ginger, the allspice, the cinnamon, cardamom, nutmeg, you can buy just pumpkin spice already pre-done. That you may have it in your house. That may be what you use. And that's cool. You can use that. Just put in 4 teaspoons of your pumpkins, your already pre-done up pumpkin spice. And you'll be just fine. I'm just showing you what we do because we make our own pumpkin spice. But I mean, plus this is how the ingredients are listed, for this dish. And I try to do everything the first go around by what the, what the recipe says. So, and then, we adjust it after that if we need to. But if you have a preferred pumpkin spice you use, feel free to use that. It does even say that in the directions. All right, so we got the rest of our dry in there. Get that off. There we are. Got that. Get this mixed up. Once we get this mixed up, we'll talk about what's going to essentially be the hard part. And it's not hard. It's just practicing patience. Alright, so we got everything is mixed in there. We've got all our wet, all our dry. We are ready to rock and roll with our batter. We get this off of here. And then that way we can give it a final scrape down. It's the final scrape down. I know, that was silly, but I felt it necessary. It popped into my head. I absolutely love music, all kinds of music. I would have music playing right now, but I'm sure if I did, there would be some copyright infringement somewhere, and we just don't want that, because if that's the case, then I get my video removed, I get an email, and then worst case scenario is I end up, they end up taking my channel from me. That would be sad, because then you guys wouldn't get to see all this stuff. So it's just much easier for me to occasionally sing something goofy. But all right, so we got all that off of there. We just gotta give this one final run around. And then I'm gonna move the camera back up so we can have a conversation about what to do next. Because if you notice in the beginning, I didn't tell you to preheat your oven. And there's a reason. There is a reason for that. All right, we are good to go there. Let me move my camera back so I can see your smiling face. And then we'll talk. Okay, so here goes the hard part of all this. I got a drink real quick. So now, what we're gonna do, we're gonna cover this roll with this bowl roll with some Saran wrap, and I'm gonna stick it in the fridge for 1 to 2 hours. And what that does is it gets it nice and cold. We want it cold so we can better form it. I mean, right now it's about the consistency of mayonnaise. And we want it to be firm. And in order to do that, we got to put it in the fridge. Let everything warm back up, or cool back down, warm back up. I'm about special. And then after that, we can start baking. So, when I come back, we will put these on a pan and start baking them. All right, be right back. I baked them, and in the process, they're done. They're on the cooling rack. As you can see, I'm not happy. They're done. They're baked. They look good, and there's nothing wrong with the cookies so far. I haven't tried one yet, so I don't know how they taste. But this oven that I'm getting used to, I'm not going to get used to it. We are going to look for a new oven. Why? Because what should have taken 11 minutes-ish actually took about 20. And I even tested it after the fact with some smaller cookies. And these are a little darker than I like. And so it's not baking even at all. I've got a thermometer in there. And it might be too hot to get out to show you. It is. That's still blazing in there. But I watched that thermometer go from 350. The second I opened up the door, it dropped to 275. And then it took 5 minutes for it to get back up to 350. And these little cookies here at a test run after the fact to see if I could get a smaller cookie. This is just the scrap stuff that was left after I made the 12. At 15 minutes burnt to a crisp, and it was reading 380 degrees. So the thermostat isn't holding in this stove. Now this stove isn't ours, it's my landlord's. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take this stove and I'm going to stick it out in the garage somewhere until he can come and get it, and we're going to go buy another stove. That's an expense that wasn't really planned on, but the holidays are right around the season, or right around the corner, literally, end of the month, all of next month. I can't have that. I do way too much cooking for the holidays. And way too much baking. So an oven for me is just so important. There are people relying on me to make a good baked good. Can't do it like this. Can't do it like this. Now, these did, due to residual cooking, at least firm up enough that they're, you can handle them. But they're soft. They're a little softer than I wanted them to be at any rate. But the fact I had to almost double the time to even get them this close is troublesome. Especially when, I've got pumpkin rolls I want to make for the holidays, pumpkin pies to make for the holidays, pecan pies, just all kinds of stuff. I want to do, coconut creams and banana creams and things like that for the kids. And those are they're not sensitive, but the pie crust is important. That's a main structure of it. Those things are all important. Apple pie, So we're just going to have to bite the bullet and invest in a new stove. Which is, it's okay. It is what it is, right? It's plan B. But anyhow, these are done. And not completely to my satisfaction, but we're going to make an icing to just drizzle over the top with a spoon. Now, you can use a piping bag, or if you want, take a Ziploc bag, cut the corner off of it, and pipe it out like that. I'm just going to drizzle it because that's what I like to do. Like I said, we're not winning, we're not entering these in a contest. If they were, I would lose just based on the bake. I do want the icing on them. Now, you can stop right here and just eat them like they are. But the icing is quick, simple to make, and it won't take no time to drizzle it on there. So, let's get started with that. Now that I've ranted about the oven, but we're going to get a new one, so it's okay. It's okay. We'll get it figured out, and we'll be back to baking normal again. So, let's get down here where we can see what's going on. And I really need to do something with the lighting in this kitchen, because it's just not happening. Oh, there we go. That's a little better. Sorry about that if that hurt your eyes. That kind of hurt my eyes. All right, so to make a simple icing, and it is a simple icing, I've got 2 cups of powdered sugar right here. I've got 2 tablespoons of milk. I'm just going to pour that in. All right, and then we'll just pitch that into the sink, and then we're going to put a teaspoon of vanilla extract in there. And it can be a liberal teaspoon. That's completely up to you. But it's about a teaspoon. of vanilla icing. And then we're just going to take a whisk. You can also use a fork, but I got a whisk right in front of me, so why not? And we're just going to mix this up and make a nice, simple, you want it to be pourable, you know, or drizzleable, yeah, pourable icing. You know, it doesn't take a lot. And this is the same icing. You could use this, add a little food coloring to it, make a couple little cups of this, and ice your cookies at Christmas time. Same icing. You know, and it's quick and simple. Yeah, best cookie icing out there. I've been eating this since the 70s when I was a kid. You know, and that's all we want right there. See how it's just drizzling off of there? So we're going to knock that off the whisk. I am still looking forward to trying one of these cookies, though. They look really good. Now, you may be able to tell, I got them on the cooling rack, but I got them on the cooling rack sitting on top of the cookie sheet with a piece of parchment paper. That way, when I drizzle this on there, anything that goes off the cookies goes onto the parchment paper, not onto the cookie sheet. Will save me a little bit of clean time. Yeah, and to me, that's important. Yeah, I like baking, and if I had time, I would probably do it all the time. But I don't know if I'd want to do it for a living. I wouldn't want to go to work for somebody and do this for a living. I have found throughout the years that things you enjoy doing as a hobby should stay as a hobby. You know, I like right now when I bake at my own pace. I don't have somebody to answer to. You know, I don't have the stress if I need to get 500 of these cookies out in one day. It's just me in the kitchen. That's it. You know, no more no less. Yeah, not that, I mean, it would be fun to make some of these to sell for the holidays. You know, whether it be my rolls, my pies, whatever. But it's not, you know, to bake like this is just baking for ourselves. It's not, you know, there's no pressure, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. And that's the way it should be. There's no pressure. Tell you right now, instead of using that piping bag, I can use this spoon and I can make a mess and it's okay. They don't have to look, you know, like they were done in a factory, which I think that look. Store-bought cookies are good. I mean, I've eaten more than my fair share and probably will continue to eat more than my fair share. But there is something to be said about the look and the taste of a cookie or a pie or a cake that you have made yourself. You know, even if it isn't the prettiest thing in the world, even if you have some flaws along the way, you know you made it with love. Like I know these cookies were made with love and a passion to make something that tastes good. It doesn't have to be great looking, it just has to taste good. So that's the most important part. And it's like that with anything, you know. Are you proud of it, or did you have fun doing it? You know, in this case, I mean, with it just being a hobby, you know, like I've said a million times, I'm not a professional. You know, I never claimed to be. I mean, I like to think I make some pretty tasty things. I've been told I make some pretty tasty things. But, you know, everybody has their own opinion. And if you guys are trying any of my recipes, I mean, you can voice your opinion. You can be like, well, Brian, you know, your recipes have been good to me, you know, or you can say, Brian, your recipes have been crap, and, you know, I only follow you because you're mildly special. And I'm okay with that either way, because there's times my wife tells me, you know, Chris, tells me that I'm special. And I am. But that's what makes me me. All right. Well, there's our cookies. They are still slightly warm, so we're going to leave them on the rack for a little while. But we are going to try them all the same. Like I said, this recipe is solid. You know, as a rock. I know this just for making other cookies. all the way down to the icing. But with my oven being a special sort of oven, in a special sort of way, I don't think they've turned out. I would give these cookies, without even trying one yet, a B rating, just because of the oven. And that's the only reason why. But we're going to try one all the same. We're going to try this one here. Now, normally, we would wait until the icing hardens. I mean, well, it will harden. That's the nature of a iced cookie. But for you, I'm going to make a sacrifice and eat this while it's still kind of gooey. Okay, so it's got all the flavor. That's amazing. The taste is overwhelming. Now, I don't know if you can see in there or not, but it's still kind of chewy in the middle. It's not raw by any means. But if I were to check this in the oven, I'd say this would need, in an oven that works, maybe another minute or two. But not anymore. These will definitely disappear probably by the end of the night. But the recipe itself, that cookie's got great flavor, good taste. And the edge, it did turn out firm. So that's good. That means that tells me at any rate that this recipe is successful, so I'm going to keep it. And I'm going to use it again, because this will make a wonderful Christmas cookie. I think Santa Claus would like this. Alright, well, now that I've devoured an entire cookie in front of you, and spent 30 seconds talking with my mouth full, try this recipe. I'm going to try it again. I'm for sure going to try it again. Because it only made 12 cookies. And in my house, 12 cookies doesn't last a day. So, but let me know what you think. Okay? Now, I'm going to say start looking at 11 minutes. Like the instructions call for. Start looking at 11 minutes. They should be crisp along the edges, firm on the edges, and not quite firm in the center. That doesn't make any sense, I know, but you'll know. If they're firm around the edges and starting to get a little dark around the edge, go ahead and pull them out, because they do bake after you pull them out. And he even talks about that, and the guy from Preppy Kitchen, how they should look done on top, firm on the center or on the sides, but still be a little spongy in the middle is what you're looking for. And all you gotta do is simply pull it out, pull the tray out, and just touch the top. If it feels a little spongy in the middle, then you know it's good to go. And then go ahead and pull it out. These are a thicker cookie, so they're gonna be it's a soft cookie, a little firm on the edge. So we were close. If I had an operating oven, I'm gonna say that would have gone about 11, 12 minutes. In my old oven, they'd have gone 11 minutes, and they'd have turned out perfect. So, anyhow, try these. Let me know how it works for you. If you think they're great, let me know, because I think they taste fantastic. If you think they're horrible, let me know. I said, Brian, things were horrible. And I'll say, well, what did you do did you follow mine? Did you just not? Yeah, we'll have a conversation about it, although it'll be quick on YouTube. And we'll take it from there. All right, well, next week, I'm probably going to rant on Tuesday. There were a few discussions that were had on one of the social media groups of Chris's about restaurant workers, and it kind of miffed me a little, so I want to respond to that on video. Don't know what we're cooking Wednesday yet, or baking on Thursday. I don't know what we're going to get into. Ooh, one thing I do want to show you real quick. Don't go anywhere. So, we made up chili beans today. for chili. And I've got 18 jars. It'll be, I can't wait to talk to you more about it. We'll talk about them on Tuesday. I may show you how to make them, but I don't know if I need more than 18 jars. We'll see. We make a lot of chili. But anyhow, until next week, I love you. I love you very much. Tell somebody else you love them and love them very much. It's going to make their day a whole lot better, and it's going to make you feel better. I promise. It makes me feel good to tell you. So, I'll see you next week. All right. It's a date. Love you. Bye.